Hello everybody. We wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction into the Child and Family Team meetings, otherwise known as CFTMs. The purpose of the Child and Family Team meeting is to bring the family, child, support professionals, extended family, and community resources together. The meeting has a strengths-based perspective. The CFTMs will be based on strengths, so children and parents can learn new skills to solve problems. The family members are included in decision making, and the team should help family identify their strengths and maybe some of the ways that they can improve, and also offer options that are consistent with the desires of the individuals involved and the family. Strengths or positive qualities or resources, so innate resources, cultural attachments, personal experiences, and environmental supports are really important things to bring up in the CFTM. So who attends these CFTMs? DCS will coordinate and facilitate. Teams should always consist of at least one or more formal or informal supports identified by the family. And the family may invite friends, extended family, neighbors, service providers, community representatives, tribal representatives, other professionals involved with the family, such as clergy or perhaps a teacher, anything that would really just be an additional support and asset for the family. So what about children attending the CFTM? Children under 14, sometimes childcare can be an issue. A lot of times these meetings take place during the day and children are in school, but they may be present for a portion of the meeting. Age-appropriate discussion is encouraged, and children participating varies from county to county. Children over the age of 14 must have the opportunity to attend and participate in the CFTM, and they have the opportunity to have 2 child representatives added to the team, with one being the youth advisor or volunteer as a party. Representatives must be at least 18 and be members of the child family team, and they may not be the foster parent or the FCM. And these advisors or representatives are subject to approval of DCS. It is a time for the volunteer to encourage the youth to participate and to see the benefits. And the court does need to make sure that the youth gets a copy of the CFTM notes. Youth 17 and a half and older, they do get to participate in the CFTM along with their service providers, DCS staff, and informal supports. This is a youth-driven meeting focused and adapting the case plan. It also addresses the issues that may arise at this stage in the case. The family or child should select CFT members except for DCS staff. And the DCS policy states that they encourage the parent, guardian, or custodian to include any residential placement staff, resource parents, formal and informal supports, and court-appointed special advocate or CASA and or guardian ad litem as members of the CFT by explaining the benefits to case planning. You are a valued volunteer and team member to the CFTM. What happens before the CFTM? The FCM is to meet with the parent and child in person prior to and separate from the CFT. FCM send confirmation notice of CFTM to all team members. That includes you as the CASA. FCMs are to communicate with parties who plan to attend, having a pre-CFTM meeting. This is really important because this gives you time to talk with the case manager and share some of your concerns when child is maybe not present in the actual CFTM meeting. So how often are CFTMs held? DCS will engage members of the CFT regarding the need for a meeting upon request of any team member prior to case closure and case junctures. Case juncture is a new awareness or significant information regarding the child or family strengths or needs which may impact the case plan or the safety plan. So here are some examples of case junctures. You'll definitely want to get with the child family team and discuss some of these things that are coming up in the life of your case. So if there are behavior issues, a case closure, a diagnosis change, either mental or physical, dual status, either identified, adjudicated, or involved, education, formal or informal supports, new assessment, permanency plan, placement, new or either a change, safety, skills acquisition, sobriety, visitation. All of these things are really important to meet with the team about. So if you don't hear from the case manager, definitely reach out and say it's time to schedule a CFTM. The CFTM agenda includes welcome and introductions, purpose, outcomes, non-negotiables, and confidentiality, safety, including current safety provision for the child or children, ground rules, the family story, strengths to achieve goals, identification of individual and family needs, brainstorming on how needs can be met, agree on who will do what and when, assess what could go wrong, an alternate plan or concurrent plan if one is adopted, and next steps along with a closing. Your volunteer role at the CFTM is to observe, listen, and gather information, and participate appropriately and professionally. You want to share your concerns in a non-accusatory way. We do not provide services as a volunteer nor unsolicited advice. Volunteers can offer suggestions. Remain aware of your role in the best interest of the child. We want you to listen at the CFTM, but don't be afraid to speak up. When there's an issue over safety and well-being of the child, their education, health, counseling, therapy, their visitation, the placement that they have, what the child says or what they want, their best interest, is the case getting uncomfortable? Ask your coordinator to attend with you. We're here to support you, but don't be afraid to speak up. What kinds of questions do you want to ask at the CFTM? You want them to be open-ended, always with respect and not intrusion, and always in terms of focusing on progress, moving towards permanency for the child. Be prepared. Write out your questions prior to the meeting and collaborate with your supervisor. Collaborate with your supervisor. We're here to help you, and we can help you develop some questions that will be useful at your CFTM. So DCS does have a policy on CFTM notes. They should have meeting notes distributed to all appropriate parties and entered in the case management system within 7 calendar days of the actual meeting. Please note that we are included in this policy, that we are a party to the case and therefore should be sent notes automatically. So what happens if I'm not invited to the meeting, or it was held without me, or I still haven't received meeting notes and I've asked twice? So you want to communicate with the case manager and then let your case coordinator know. We want to know that you're not being communicated with. And then just approach going forward with tact, professionalism, but don't let it go. You're the only one there for that child. Understand how you approach DCS could negatively affect the CFT's ability to collaborate, coordinate, and communicate, and that's why you want to be as respectful and polished as you can be. But advocate for yourself and the team. Raise whatever issues you have in a constructive manner, and make this an opportunity to evaluate what you have to offer. If you are absent from the CFTM, that can hinder a child's best interest being heard. Okay, so a bit more troubleshooting. What if our CFTMs don't even come close to following the model or agenda? I have input, but the FCM tends to ignore me or doesn't let me speak. How do I handle a situation when the FCM states something I don't agree with? Or how do I speak up during the meeting or after the meeting? It's time for a chat with DCS if fidelity to this model is not being promoted. DCS does frequently have new case managers, and this can be a really teachable moment from a strengths-based perspective. And this is just another way you can collaborate with your case coordinator here at CASA, and we'll be happy to help. So just continue to communicate with your case manager and your case coordinator. You are part of the family team, and remember, it is their meeting, developing resources for this family in need. As a party to the case, we have a right to be there. We advocate for the child's own bullet point, best interest. Find out more about the upcoming meeting agenda, the objectives, and determine what you bring to the table. Reach out in advance to the organizer. Assure them that you want to be included to share and gather information. If a scheduling conflict arises, be sure to communicate with the director, supervisor, or coordinator so that we can maybe fill in for you. Stay neutral, focus on the process. Whether you're in the CFTM or you are navigating conflict with DCS, the conversation shouldn't be about you or how you feel. Guide this discussion towards why it makes sense for the volunteer to be present and why it's important to advocate for that best interest of the child. Share your schedule with the organizer, speak up when the next meeting is being scheduled, and you might have to have this conversation more than once, but we sure hope not. We really hope that this video emphasizes the importance of attending CFTMs and using your voice to advocate for your CASA child. Thank you so much for listening, and remember that your case coordinators are here to help you navigate the ins and outs of CFTMs.